Hello and welcome to the No Holds Barred Witchcraft podcast. This is laggy as fuck and I don't even know if this is gonna work. Maybe this will see the light of day, maybe it won't. If you're hearing now, it probably means that at least part of it has worked. Now, we have got a special treat coming out soon called Baby Witch's Creche, so we figured we'd probably name the episode Baby Witch's Creche to marry up with the super special magical event. Isn't that right, Chris?
Suppose, yeah. Also, we've been talking about doing Baby Witch's Creche for ages, so I suppose we really should do it.
We should do it. So, we should probably talk a little bit about the definition of this baby witch thing, hashtag baby witches, and people referring to themselves as baby witches first, and then maybe talk about the super special event around about maybe 15 minutes in, maybe 20 minutes in. I'm not going to tell you exactly, not because, I can't be bothered to edit and put it in the description, but simply because with all this commercial radio and stuff, from what I understand, you've got to build up to news and that. You've got to take something minuscule and you've got to pad it out and drag it out to make it sound bigger and bigger and bigger, so that, when the event just kind of erupt, it's all very anticlimactic. Have you ever had an anticlimactic climax, Chris?
No, not really. No.
You don't really listen to the radio then, do you? There's a lot of it on the radio.
Can't stand the radio. I don't drive though, do I? So,
That's true.
I've no reason to listen to the radio. You spent too much time on the road.
I'm sure at least some of our listeners have had an anticlimactic climax of some description.
Wow. This isn't Fausty Witches, Liam.
No, this is the original No Holds Barred Witchcraft podcast, as we all know is far worse than Fausty Witches.
Yeah, but we do hard news on here. Come on, hard news.
Hard news? Okay, so here's some news. This is spanking, right? Because obviously we know that I don't cope all that well with social media and I don't fully understand it. Okay? Now there's this new thing called a hashtag, right? And there's this new hashtag.
Yeah, it's new by about 10 years, Liam.
Exactly, so it's new. It's this century, is it not this century?
It is this century, I guess.
I remember the 90s. I liked the 90s, okay? Things were simpler in the 90s.
Okay.
The noughties was fun, but then after that it just all went a bit wobbly, right, for me.
Okay. Okay.
So there's this thing called hashtag, and people hashtag a load of random stuff and it like trends and that, and there's these like little sayings. Like people have catchphrases or slang terms and those kind of go hashtag viral and everyone like uses them and stuff like that. Like you have yam yam up there, don't you? Is it yam yam?
This is like trying to talk to my mum about social media. Come on.
So there's this thing, hashtag, and then there's this hashtag that's going around about baby witches. So this baby witch thing is, I think, from what I understand, you'll have to correct me, but I think it's people referring to themselves as a baby witch in order to appear humble in front of more experienced magical practitioners. Is that what it's being used for, or is it being used as something else?
That's probably the nicest way you could possibly put it, Liam, so I'm quite impressed.
Well, how would you put it?
I'd have put it to a load of beginner bullshit, where they are actually completely aware of how inept they are, and actually are trying to be cute.
Right.
It's insta-witch boss bollocks.
But is this a step in the right direction, Chris? Because I remember last century, there was no such thing as people being humble. There was a people gallivanting around through different countries, cultural misappropriation, messing about with magic they can't begin to understand, and then getting kicked out of several countries and writing books with Libra in the title.
That wasn't the most subtle, Liam, but well done. Well done for trying.
Okay.
Um,
Well, is this a step in the
my
right direction? Bit of humility, bit of kind of like, look, I'm essentially almost like a baby at this, as in I'm just taking my steps for the first time. I'm learning to walk. I'm learning to navigate this magical world which I never knew existed until I read read the Harry Potter books, and then suddenly
okay.
discovered a wonderful world full of other people with low self-esteem that also like to dress up.
But what's the problem? What I don't like is what's the problem with the word beginner? Why do we have to say that we're a dribbling mess?
Well, this is actually a very, very good point because
With cankles.
beginner or new to the craft is probably makes a little bit more sense. Baby witch, I don't know. Are they trying to be cute? Is that what it
I think
is?
that it's trying to be cute. It's trying to put something cute on a really bad aesthetic and actually not really dealing with it. What is wrong with beginner? You know, they want to trend something about in a cute way so they can make more fucking memes about shit that don't matter.
Ah, it's about the memes, is it?
So I think it's all about the memes and trending. It's bollocks. But I just don't see what the problem is with the word beginner, and they should actually just admit. The problem is, like we've come across it before, and we talk about it a lot, to us, most people are beginners. So I suppose Baby Witch at least attempts to categorise them a little bit better, rather than just kind of going, these are all pre-foundation. Oh, there you go. I prefer that. Pre-foundation, which is
So,
sounds a bit too corporate, doesn't it?
so you know that thing being humble, that word humble. I think you're now doing the opposite of that.
I just like to say how it is.
Maybe you
I
can
don't. I
maybe you
don't.
can elaborate because you're saying that everyone's a beginner pretty much that's out there, whether they've been doing it for 5 minutes, 5 years, 50 years, whatever. Don't
25
matter. You're
years.
basically saying they're all beginners. So if they're all beginners, none of them fucking matter. Therefore, it don't fucking matter. Just call yourself a beginner or just call yourself a witch. Maybe. I remember when it's just a case of you either call yourself a witch or someone else calls you a witch.
Yeah, I like those days.
Why do we have to distinguish between how long we've been on the path for? Because I think if you want to remain humble, and this is coming to me and I don't have a fucking clue how to remain humble, bearing in mind, but I would guess as to if we all referred to ourselves as a witch or witches, then no matter who we met, we would only be able to work out whether they were more seasoned, more experienced, more powerful than ourselves by actually interacting, having conversations and the like, and seeing them. I don't like the idea of making everyone wear different coloured belts, like they do in martial arts schools, for our witchcraft.
Yeah,
Because
like I said.
baby witches is like the white belt, isn't it? That's like the one you get before you
Yeah,
even get the yellow belt on a lot of systems. So it's like, okay,
exactly.
you've basically signed up for the little block of 10 lessons to have a go to see if you actually
Yeah,
enjoy it. And then after your block of 10 lessons, we might make you do something and give you a yellow belt, which we will also make you pay for. And at that point, we'll also make you pay for the right shoes, the right jogging bombs, and the right t-shirts, of course, that say the school on the front and the back. Whereas for the first 10 lessons, you just show up in your normal gym stuff, right? Because we got to kind of win you over. You know, get them for 10 lessons, and if they do an 11th, they probably really do like it. And if they get a little
yeah.
yellow ribbon out of it as well, that'll definitely keep them going.
My issue is that the group of people that use the word baby witch are the same group of people that will kick off for you saying that Wicca isn't real witchcraft. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it is.
But Wicca is real witchcraft. We've
Is
expanded
it?
the definition to include Wicca, I thought, in the 1950s.
Well, yeah, sure. But you get what my point is. I'm trying to say these are the people that will kick off and say, "Oh, you can't do that because, rule of three." And then you kind of like, those are the same group of people that are constantly going, "Oh, you can't tell me that I'm not." Remember all that trouble you got yourself into
Oh, come on, you'll have to
by
fucking
trying to give
elaborate.
advice
Which time?
about tools? The one on Facebook when you got yourself in trouble because you'd said something about people that still use tools
Oh,
are
God,
beginners.
yeah.
That one, do you
Yeah, I
remember?
do remember
So
that.
it's that group of people who will kind of go, you can't judge me for still using tools. If I want to use tools, I'll use
So are
tools.
you calling
And then they're the sort
that
of people.
Aaron woman a baby witch? Is that what you're doing?
No, well, possibly, but just kind of saying that actually, is that is the difference. You're talking about a group of people that will split hairs about everything, are then calling themselves baby witches, and that's the bit I don't get. Because obviously, you really are saying that I don't know a thing, I'm still dribbling, I'm still wearing a nappy, I need to stop. Um, Eventually, I might take my first step. Like, at what point in your craft do you really feel that way? Because most people we work with after day one are not feeling like that. So why do you use that title long? Why is there a title there for a stage that doesn't really last that long?
I
Do you know what I
suppose
mean?
it comes from social media, doesn't it? And if you look at social media witchcraft as a whole, it isn't about the magical practice. It's about being part of a community of whining wimps, generally speaking, that like to
Oh yeah,
post
that
the
like to
same
wear
old
velour.
shit with cats and stuff. So it is about self-loathing, miserable cunts, essentially
Wow.
wanting to connect with other self-loathing, miserable people and share things that make them smile, that have a kind of witchy aesthetic. So them trying to, in order to be cute, I mean, they probably did the whole dragon thing. I'm a dragon, I'm not a human, I'm a dragon. I'm a water dragon, I'm a this dragon, I'm a that dragon. They kind of got bored with that. So now they're jumping in the kind of witchcraft groups. They're kind of trying to be a different type of witch. Oh, well, I'm a hedge witch. Well, I'm a kitchen witch. Well, I'm a this witch. Well, I'm a that witch. I'm a book witch. You know? I don't know. I think that is because of the kind of cutesy nature of it being baby witches and it's supposed to be kind of all sweet and cute like. I'm thinking that it's just another little community group of, well, people that would normally have died off due to evolution in centuries past. I mean, they don't normally make it, do they? Let's be fair.
The ones that couldn't outrun a sword.
The ones that couldn't outrun a sword, the ones that didn't contribute to society, you know, all that kind of thing, normally they tend not to survive for very long to pass on their genes. So I'm
Okay.
thinking that maybe these, because we live in a fairly cushy society in the West, most people, there are still many people that aren't having a very nice life, that live in a first world country, and obviously, let's be fair, we don't care. Because if we did, we'd probably do something about it. You know, if you're a self empowered witch with a considerable amount of power and the like, and you don't like something, the chances are you change it. So what does that say about us, Chris?
It just says we don't care enough to do anything about it. Um,
Well, I don't feel
but
that it's necessarily my, you know, it's not for me to interfere with other people's paths, you see, unless they piss me off.
okay, okay. No, I get it. yeah, it's rare for someone to actually annoy me enough to actually want to do anything about it these days. But that's just because it's way more effort than I'm willing to waste. I got shit to do. But yeah, I don't know. We're probably being ridiculously rude about a group of people that probably need a lot more love. Um, but I
I
don't
think they need
see.
counselling is what they need. They need a professional therapist. In fact, many of
Okay.
them I know already have professional therapists because they often leave comments about it. I've spoken to my therapist, blah,
Okay.
blah, blah, but I also want to do a spell type thing. What can I do? And can I use a red candle for it? Because I like that colour.
Well, you can use a white wand as a substitution for anything nowadays, can't
I'm
you?
sure there's a meme about that, yeah.
Uh, See, okay. Have we ranted enough about people? Should we be a bit more serious now?
I do believe we might have ranted enough, but I'm sure other things will pop up.
Okay.
So
So, Baby Witch's Crest was a phrase coined by one of our Patreons, I believe, wasn't it? To
I
talk
don't
about the
think one
witch.
of our patrons created the whole Baby Witches Creche meme and the like, but there are people
No.
that I think have asked about it.
So I've no, I'm pretty sure one of them coined the phrase "baby witch's creche," referring
Oh,
to
Baby Witches
Witchcraft
Creche,
Live.
right.
Yeah, referring to Witchcraft Live as the baby witch's creche.
Wait a minute, so are you saying that everyone in the Witchcraft Live Facebook group is an inept baby?
No, that's not what I'm saying, Liam. Stop putting
Is
words in
there
my mouth.
anyone in there that you would consider to be an inept baby?
What I'm saying is that I'm pretty sure one of the Patreons referred to that the space that we provide for young and new witches that actually referred to it as Baby Witch's Creche. And I think that's how it ended up on the podcast list
That is
originally.
true. I do remember this now, but you didn't answer my question. Notice how he didn't answer my question, everyone.
There's always a rotten potato somewhere.
Okay, so would you ever use the term baby witch? Because technically, we have used it in this episode name, haven't we?
We
And with
have,
this event we've got coming up. So,
but we are both using it in an ironic, sarcastic way. So
okay.
I don't really think that counts as actually using it. And if I see you using the word hashtag baby witch, I may actually have to fall out with you, Lim. So
Okay. That wouldn't be good.
that wouldn't be good because you kind of still need me.
Do I?
This
Fucking hell. This is news to me.
because
I
I
think
don't.
we've proved with the Occult Ramblings podcast that I can quite easily send people to sleep on my aim and that I don't necessarily need you at all because they were all talking about it.
They're all talking about the fact that actually they need Chris in the mix
Could
because
you keep them
otherwise
awake?
can't cope with Liam for that
Okay.
period of time, I believe.
Right. What, 20 minutes? 20 to 45 minutes?
Yeah, apparently that's too much Liam
Okay.
without the breakup of Chris.
Right. We've got 10 minutes until the end of the regular edition of the podcast. So let's talk about this Baby Witch's Creche thing. So
Okay.
a creche is somewhere you dump kids in it that are really young.
Yeah,
Basically, is that right?
yeah, yeah.
Is there a Mary Poppins there? Or what?
No, I think normally there are loads of kind of people, teenagers, who trying to get pocket money before they go and find a real job. Oh, I've just insulted loads of people. Carry on.
So this is lower classes. This isn't like middle or upper classes where a nanny's hired.
No, because that would be one-to-one care.
Okay, right. So a creche is essentially when you go to IKEA and you want to go and have a fiddle about with all of the jars and bottles and all of that because you're a big girl, big boy witch. So
Yeah.
you've got a baby witch that you take with you and you think, fuck that. I ain't dragging them round IKEA. I'll dump them in the creche at the beginning and then I can pick them up after I've paid for everything.
Yeah.
So you dump the baby witch, who don't know fuck all, and is actually quite tedious. You know, it's tedious dealing with baby witches. For some teenage person to go and look after, essentially, for an hour whilst you bug around IKEA, maybe stop and get your vegetarian meatballs with chips and gravy and lingonberry jam, along with a dime cake. But that's what they have in IKEA, isn't it?
Yeah, but why do you need to make that so specific? Get to the point, Liam. Get to the point.
Well, that is the point. You have the baby witches, you dump them in the creche because you're tired of them and you are potentially a parent that loves your children, but you can't stand to be with them 24/7. So you need a bit of a break, right? Now here's the thing, and the baby witches creche, is there any education, Chris, when they dump those children off, or is it just soft play?
Soft play normally.
Okay. What about our baby witches creche? Tell us about that.
Well, our
Because
baby
it comes
witch.
with a booklet, and I've read the booklet, and the booklet is quite something.
Okay. So, well, it is what it is. The baby witches creche we're doing is this weekend coming. We're going to be in Gloucester, aren't we? Doing
Yeah.
some
This
kind of
weekend,
event
we'll
for the
be
Festival
looking
of
after
Unexplained.
children. I can imagine
Well-
those people at home thinking, who the fuck in their right mind would let these two look after their children? And is there some sort of a blood sacrifice or something like that? It's not as sinister as it sounds, right? It's not as sinister as it sounds.
Hey, virgins are really hard to come by these days.
You think we're going to find some in Gloucester?
You have to start them really. You have to grab them really young. So, especially it's Gloucester in the southwest. Come on, they'll have been already touched up by their funny uncle by now.
You can't say shit like that.
I can. I'm safe up in the Midlands right now. So, yeah. So the whole point is we've been asked to get involved with the Festival of the Unexplained. Who is a connection to what we do with Fausty Witches. Keep on chatting.
You mean our manager?
Our manager.
Well, the Feisty Witch's manager. She manages the show, doesn't she? And moderates and everything.
Stop trying to get me in trouble.
Well, she does.
So, yeah, sure. So we have been asked last minute to go and join in with them. I'm sure somebody died and therefore we've had to jump in and cover. The COVID's got them or something. And then, so we've decided to throw a brand new kind of event together, haven't we? So just, in our usual kind of way. So we're planning to do a kind of all-day live feed event. Like a Fausty Witches meets Heston Blumenthal kind of variety of cooking show, I think is pretty much what we're attempting to do. Blow shit up.
Right. So, essentially what we're doing is a psychic, holistic-y kind of affair. There's market stalls, there's people giving talks, and there's people doing readings, like psychic readings and all that sort of shit. What we thought we'd do is bring you with us. Because you need to experience this for yourselves. And let's be fair, there's people that listen to this all over the world. So it ain't worth getting on an airplane to come during COVID times to have a little look what's going on, when we can simply just use a phone to create a live feed. And you can see what we have to deal with on a daily basis. So what we're going to do is, instead of doing a little market stall, we thought we'd get some tables, which we have ordered from there. So in terms of the actual setup, I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen. But what we're going to do is we're going to put a little table together. We're going to put a bunch of chairs out. And we're just going to sit there being recorded live, and people are presumably, if I understand this right, Chris, just randomly walk around the venue and come and sit in our table and talk to us about magic and shit whilst we're doing magic and shit. Is that right?
Sounds about right. So there's so we'll basically do a kind of mini set of loosely quote unquote courses for the day.
It's demos. Like when you go to John Lewis's and there's always a guy that's trying to sell you a coffee making machine, and you don't drink coffee because
or a set of knives you don't need,
and yet he still wants to try and get you to try his coffee and tell you why his coffee and his coffee making machine is so much better than all the others. And I say, look, I don't fucking like coffee, but he still goes on. Is it going to be like that? We're going to be doing demonstrations. And I don't mean demonstrations as in tying ourselves to trees type demonstrations, which I know a lot of the neo-pagans are probably used to when you hear demonstrations. We're doing demonstrations as in showing you how to do shit. Is that right?
Yes, it'll be a lot of little kind of intro beginner stuff, which is probably, far beneath some of our usual clientele, but it might be interesting for them to kind of watch and see what we kind of do with beginners. Obviously there is an ulterior motive to this, isn't there, Liam?
Is there?
Well, yes, in the sense that this is obviously reflecting certain changes in some of the Thoth branding that's going on at the moment, so preparing ourselves for some relaunches later this year, I think.
I think that's above my pay grade, Chris. I don't think I know about such secret things.
Oh no, he just rambles.
That's classified information. I'm not to know about such things.
Just rambles about them on the Occult Ramblings in Tier 2 Patreon, yeah?
Yeah, but Tier 2 people have the right classification, They're allowed to see top secret documents and the like.
Okay. Okay. Not that we're
Whereas you're talking about need to know basis, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm just saying that there is some changes afoot that we're working on, and obviously this has somewhat of a lean into that. So,
How does it lean into it, though? I'm not understanding. Is this to do with Fanny Cranach's Academy of Magical Doings or something? I believe was the most popular name choice.
Yes, it definitely won't be called that. I don't think I could live with myself. However entertaining that might be, I don't think people would take us very seriously. Although I do feel like we need a spoof range that might be called that when we expand more of Fanny Cranach's range.
Right, so to cut a very long story short, on Saturday, the 11th of September 2021, we will be going to the Guildhall in Gloucester to take part in the festival. Is it festival? Yeah, festival of the Unexplained. And what we'll be doing is explaining how all of this unexplainable stuff actually works to a bunch of paranormal investigators and other people that just roll in off the street. So picture this. There's a psychic-y type fair full of ghost hunters, paranormal investigators and psychics. We rock up with a table, a bunch of chairs, plonk ourselves right in the middle of all of it, and then sit there talking about how magic works, and then anyone that's brave enough to sit on our table do some demonstrations and do a little bit of teaching, all while broadcasting all of this live on the Thoth Witchcraft Facebook page, the Witchcraft Live Facebook group, and possibly even YouTube.
Yeah.
What could possibly go wrong, Chris?
It'll be great. Everyone will love it. They like it when we do weird things off the cuff.
They do.
It'll just be all this random shit. It'll be great.
Well, there we go. That's it for this edition of the podcast. Join us on Saturday.